Okay, so back in 2016, I made a video um, about the endocrine system. It was, and the pregnant woman and how she's passing on all of these different health defects to the unborn child, including gender association behavior disorder, or in the video, per I quote, symptoms of that would be, little boys wanting to play with toy dolls instead of toy guns, end quote. Okay, but you'll hear in the video, I mean, in the audio, because I don't. All I have is audio. A doctor. I had caught a podcast, a pod, a podcast from NPR. I think the host was Helen Keller. I forgot her name. Anyway, it took place in December of 2015. The episode has since been archived. I can't find it. I don't know how. I don't know if you have to write in and ask to request a copy of that audio, but pretty much the doctors alluded to, some of the gender behavior disorder, or one feeling like you're in the wrong body, can be attributed to a lot of different things that people been saying, as far as the environment, things that are in our things that we use, where we live around, and how they knew about the potential of this boom happening that's happened now. They knew about this even as early in the 70s, right? They were talking about it, but environmental groups was trying to stop a lot of the things. You'll hear in the audio, I only caught the about 6 minutes or so of it that was kind of gathered around what I wanted to kind of pick out of that whole conversation. But generally, it was just talking about how, you know, the pregnant woman has all these chemical contaminants in her body, and how, it's passed. And, we were talking about, like, thyroid issues, diabetes, all these things, cancer, and all this stuff, that how they're saying, like, oh, it's, you know, something to be passed down, or, if you have it, if you're, how they ask you, if you have a family history of it. That's kind of where all that stuff comes from. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to play the audio. And again, I'm really just trying to re-record this. I'm recording it on here because it seems like I get the better quality here, and then that way I can download it and add it to my YouTube channel again. So just kind of refer, because the video, I'm looking at the video I made with the audio, like, it was an old phone. And it was like blurry, so yeah. So here we go. I'm going to start the audio. So if anybody listens in, that's what's going on. People are, and that is also a concerning trend. Dr. Carpenter, is there a sense of which toxins are doing the most damage? Do we know what it is that's hurting people?
Well, that's a very good question, and the answer is a little complicated. We know a lot about the endocrine activities of some of the persistent chemicals like ATPs and dioxins. And the reason we know a lot about them is we can take a blood sample and get some indication of what someone was exposed to numbers of years ago. But these chemicals do interfere with hormones, so many of them mimic the female sex hormone estrogen. Some mimic the male sex hormone, and some alter the rates of metabolism of those. But I think the recent concern focuses on many new chemicals that are not persistent. These are things that are in our personal care, our shampoos. They line the food case. They're in composite dental fillings. They're everywhere. And almost all of us are exposed to them almost every day. Now, these don't stay in our bodies very long, but because we're exposed to them continuously, there's every likelihood that they also alter our endocrine systems, and that they then contribute to all of the things that Tracy's mentioned. They contribute to birth defects, because the development of the male and the female reproductive systems during gestation is determined by the balance between the female hormones and the male hormones. endocrine disrupting chemicals before birth, then you're going to have a lifelong altered behavior.
Born this way.
It's very interesting. There been a publication that recently appeared in a whole issue of the journal Carcinogenesis, where we looked at the effects of these chemicals, which are not known to cause cancer, but we compared some of the actions of these chemicals to those of chemicals known to cause cancer. We find many, many commonalities. Now, obviously, cancer is a disease that usually doesn't occur for many years, but these chemicals, which are basically not well regulated in our society, we don't know much about what they do when they come on the market, and they are altering diseases that occur many, many years after exposure, as well as some things that are found right away.
Dr. Woodruff, who's most vulnerable to these toxins? The unborn child, but I'm thinking about also are there certain groups in society who are more vulnerable?
Sinus.
Yeah, so it was an excellent point by Dr. Carpenter that during the fetal development you have unique periods of susceptibility that are occurring that if you interfere with that, that can alter the course of development. Childhood is also an important time. And this was something very important pointed out by both opinions, by the U.S. group as well as the international group, is there are certain places where people live where they have more exposure to environmental chemicals because of where they live. So people who live near industrial facilities, people who live near freeways. So it tends to be people who are poor or who certain racial and ethnic groups tend to have a higher burden of some of these industrial chemicals. And that is one of the other areas that's been very intriguing in terms of thinking about the role of industrial chemicals on health. A lot of health disparities in the United States for certain diseases. So birth outcomes, cancer, infant mortality. Certain ethnic and racial groups, most often African Americans, suffer a disproportionate burden of different types of health outcomes. And
which is why it's more prevalent.
Be explaining a portion of that health disparity. That's an area where I think we are going to see a more active focus.
In our
that
ranks.
being said, people who live in these communities, they're very concerned about their chemical exposures now, and they want to see something happening in terms of addressing them.
So is this a relatively recent problem, or are we just now seeing the results of toxins that have been in the environment for decades?
I would say that our recognition of the problem has been growing. I think people have been concerned about industrial chemicals for I think there's been a concern kind of proceeding all the way from the 70s. Certainly, there was concern back in the 70s when they passed the original Toxic Substance Act as well as other important pieces of environmental legislation. But the idea that chemicals are in these many different types of products that people go and you buy in the store, and that they're not regulated by the government, I think there's a new recognition of that. And I think a lot of that has been driven by what we've seen a change in technology around our ability to measure these chemicals in biological samples, basically called biomonitoring, which I think maybe Dr. Carpenter mentioned, which is now we have this ability to take people's blood or urine and measure dozens, sometimes hundreds of different industrial chemicals that could be present in people's bodies. I think the thing that's most shocking is people didn't realize how many of these chemicals are actually present in people's bodies. I think people think of their products as outside of themselves. Really, what's in there is getting inside.
Mm-hmm. We're talking this hour about chemical toxins in the...
So, what I would suggest for people to do who still are in disbelief, I would suggest play back the video, listen to some of the keywords, because this is what I did. Start looking up these words in terms that were stated that were, I'm pretty sure most of you are unfamiliar with, like dioxins and xenoestrogens and, biomonitoring and, all these things that were being stated. Because, myself, I was just like floored when I listened to the whole thing The whole podcast, it was an hour long, like 40 minutes long. But this was the part that really, I wish I would have just recorded the whole thing, but I didn't think that they would archive it. This was back in 2015. I was just really, in the process of, you know, awe and changing my mindset on a lot of different things. So I didn't think that I wouldn't be able to access it. If anybody knows how to get a hold of it, please feel free to let me know or be able to get access to that um, podcast. I think it said something like chemical contaminants in the pregnant woman or something like that. It was something to that effect. But if you Google that and it comes up, it'll say that it's archived. So I don't know how to access that. But again, this is something that I have been saying. People get offended. Transgender people get offended. People in the LGBTQ community get defensive. You have heterosexual people that get um, you know, defensive, or they try to like, oh no, that's not. They're just, it's no, it's just these single mothers. You know what I'm saying? Raising all these boys, and single mothers. Yeah, they ain't got no father, and y'all sitting up, and that's why your boys is turning out like punks, cause you drove the father away. Now he can't raise his son, and blah blah blah. And you want to put him on child support. When or they blame, oh, they kiss it on TV and all that stuff, which technically some of those, those things have some effect, but it's not the whole picture. This was basically telling you that a lot of the things that is in our environment are mutating our babies. Boys aren't getting the right doses of testosterone. They're getting more estrogen, and so they it's messing up the chemical balance and everything. And they're coming out wanting and feeling like they're not in the right body. So think of like, I don't know if I could, I don't know what I could, because a lot of people think it's something that you could just change, and you can't. It's literally like putting something together, like putting a Frankenstein together and using different body parts and then sewing them together and making it, creating, be alive, create like the Frankenstein story. Like it's alive now, but you've used all these different parts, so it is now what it is. Okay, so it's like, like when you cook a dish, is you can't do nothing about it. It's that dish. Okay, you can't turn it into nothing else. If you were trying to make spaghetti and you end up making something else, now it's just something else. Okay, so what I'm saying is, born this way is technically, it's true, and it's something that is irreversible. Now a person can choose not to, but it's no, a lot of people don't want to do that, and I understand, rightfully so, because it's like, hey, I everybody else gets to do what the fuck they want to do, and live and fornicate and do whatever. I might as well live like I really want to live, but there are those that choose not to. But it doesn't take that away. It's just like, I don't know what to compare it as. It's just it's just opting not out of doing that. But it doesn't mean they don't like it. You dig what I mean? It's like eating healthy. It's like, okay, I love some fried chicken. I mean, someone who's like on this health kick, oh yeah, it's fried chicken, and but they battle with not eating that, greasy food or whatever to try to stay healthy. It's just, so I just wanted to redo this, like I said again. Um, I wanted to redo the video because the other video is kind of old, and it looks it looks jacked up. Okay, so this is a better video. It's more clear. It looked like I got a 2000. I'm looking at the picture now. I got it frozen. It looked like I got a 2005 camera phone. But seriously though, I wanted that to put that out there. It's not just, it's all types of things. Um, if some people say it's a conspiracy theory, well, hey, they started in the womb. They made sure that you couldn't bypass the other things. If I'm just playing devil's advocate, if it is a conspiracy theory, they're trying to, feminize all the black boys, then you got to think about which would be diabolical. Okay, we're going to, make sure in case, it happens, we're going to start from in the womb to make sure it's effective. Okay? So it is what it is. At this point, it's like, some of the things I don't agree with as far as moving into the realm of, redefining what a woman is, because I think that, that gets into like, what for the longest women were being told by a man how to be a woman. Now we have those who are physically, or whatever you want to call that, via birth, men who now want to redefine what it is to be a woman. So it's like we still get in flack, So I really think personally, I know I'm gonna get, dragged for this, but I really think that there should be some other provision, something else, some other name, instead of trying to redefine what's already have a definition to. But other than that, should nobody put their hands on nobody because they feel differently, and everybody should be accepting all that other good jazz. That's cool with me. But yeah, I just not to make this too much longer. That was I just wanted to redo this video and do your own research.